are an accident waiting to happen.
Stephen A, hush your mouth, talking all that noise. You can hate all you want, but we still them boys. Dirty, dirty D, Texas where we stay at. We decide in order till you know that's where we play at. Hey, this year, this the payback. Yeah, we them Cowboys, and nah, we don't play that. Work, this is Cowboy Nation. Work, welcome to Cowboy Nation. Work, y'all can keep on hate. Work.
Cowboys Nation, Cowboys Nation, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to another episode of Defending the Boys. I am your host, D. Will, and today we are going to defend the boys. Before we get into defending the boys, I want to ask you to subscribe. Hit the button right down and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you are on the iHeart app, thank you so very much for tuning in. Your listenership is very much so appreciated. This episode is brought to you by the Car Wreck Attorneys at 1-833-OHIT. That's 1-833-OHIMHIT. 1-833-644-6448. If you ever hurt in a car accident and you're in the DFW area or anywhere in Texas, really, give the car accident attorneys at 1-833-OHIT a phone call. They are one of the best in the business. These are the guys that's going to take it all the way for you. They're not going to drop you just because the insurance company says that they're not at fault. They're willing to fight. If they decide to take your case on and it needs to go to court, 1-833-OHIT, those car accidents attorneys are going to go to court for you. Give them a phone call, 1-833-644-6448. I am dedicating this show to my son, Trey. This show is for you. The show is for Trey because Trey called me very depressed. Trey said, "Dad, I don't know how you're defending these boys." He said, "Dad, I don't like what I see. We have the number 1 offense and the number 32 defense. There's no way that you win football games with the number 32 defense." Well, I'm going to explain to you why this defense will not end number 32. Now, with that being said, they're not going to end one either. We're only 4 weeks into the season, but there are still some things missing and some weaknesses that they have. But worst defense in the league is not where I think that they're going. I think they'll end up somewhere in the middle of the pack. And you will find that with the best offense in the league and a middle-of-the-road defense, you may actually be pretty good. So let me just explain. I went back and I watched the game again. And then I watched for a third time just that last 40 minutes or so it was a 40-minute video clip, but it was the last part of the fourth quarter and then all of overtime. And what I realized is, one, we played a really good team. The Green Bay Packers is a playoff team, and they didn't get to be a playoff team for nothing. This is a team that could very easily be in the NFC Championship game, could very easily be a team that finds its way to the Super Bowl if the Cowboys don't. And this was a pretty good team, and they showed it. They proved it, and we were only able to come out with the tie. Now, did we play good defense? Absolutely not. But you know what? We didn't play like we did against the Giants. Seemed like it because it was 40 points that they were able to put on us, but we didn't play quite as bad as we did against the Giants. We also didn't play as bad as we did against the Chicago Bears. It looked like it because we put up 40 points, but it wasn't quite as bad. But I'm not even really here to make that argument, right? I'm not going to make the argument because they still gave up 40 points. It's really hard to explain to a casual fan how that defense yesterday, Sunday night, how that defense played better, even though they gave up 40 points. They gave up a 40 burger. So, D. Will, how are you saying that they played better. Well, some of that big explosion, just deep over the top stuff was gone. They tried it. They weren't able to do it. You could see the safeties in a better place. A lot of the bigger plays that it was like, we just couldn't get it done were cornerback straight off an injury, a step away. That step is going to come back. But again, I'm not going to make that argument. Here's where my argument is going to come. Not that they played better yesterday. I'm not going to make that argument. I believe it, but I'm not going to make it here on the podcast, okay? Instead, I'm going to show you how the defense simply just gets better as the year goes along. Now, some of this is probably that's funny. Okay, I gotta say this thing. Somebody actually made me laugh. Most of the time, y'all just getting on me, right? And y'all want to say something because I'm defending the boys, and people just want to hate. But the other day, somebody did get me because I scratched the back of my neck, and they was like, "Oh, he's a crackhead. You can tell he's a crackhead by the things he thinks about. He follows the Cowboys." Okay, that one was funny. I liked it. I'm gonna have a comeback for y'all though, because I'm definitely coming for y'all. But that one was funny. But anyway, here we go. Why the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to get better. Some of this is obviously from an injury standpoint. Some of it is just time. So I'm going to start on the defensive line. First of all, our defensive line is playing the run fairly well. Although, Josh Jacobs had a decent game on Sunday night against us. This wasn't a gashing game. When you think about the playoff game in January of 2024, that was a game where they ran at will. This was a game where they really didn't. They were getting inches. Like when you went back and looked at right before the field goal, that first down that they got, they barely got it. I mean, it was really a question in my mind if they actually got that first down. I mean, he needed 1 yard and he got 1 yard exactly. It wasn't gashing. And they did have some play. They were a good team. So they had some plays where they were able to break that little amazing little flip from Jordan Love. Hey, good players make good plays. And so it happened. But from just a general watching the game and the flow of the game, the Cowboys still did a pretty decent job of stopping the run. From a pass rush standpoint, we started to get some. Now, I agree that Cleveland had some rush the week before on this same team, and they had some injuries, yada, yada, yada. Look, Chicago Bears had injuries, and we didn't get no push. This week, we got some push against these guys. We got it from the edge. We got it from the middle. There were some things that were done right. And I feel like from a pass rush standpoint, just those 4 people pass rushing, that we get better as the year goes along. One reason is Jadeveon Clowney. He's right off the couch. He's 2 weeks out. 2 weeks ago, he was sitting at the couch hoping he'd get a phone call. He got the phone call. But he was definitely not in game shape. And you could kind of see some of that. I call it clumsy football movement, right? You're not used to the switch, change of direction type of things. No matter how much you practice it, when you're actually running somebody down, you kind of got to get your bearings about you. I feel like next week that's better. The week after that, he's starting to really move into full speed, whatever his full speed is going to be. And I think that you'll start to see some pressure off the edge. I believe that Eberflus has recognized, he has listened to my podcast. He doesn't listen to the podcast at all. But I'm going to say, because it makes me feel better, that he's listening to the podcast, and he has finally, after 6 weeks of D. Will yelling, please put James Houston in the game more, he has put him in the game more. I noticed on the many of plays and on the many of the even when you just watch the highlights, you would see James Houston actually in the game. A play that I wish he could have made was right before. It was actually the last touchdown that they actually got before we got our touchdown, and they had to kick a field goal. But their last actual touchdown, he was in the game and he slipped. And I was really hoping that he was going to be able to get to to the quarterback on that play, but he didn't. But he was in the game, and that is the most important part. So what I'm telling you is with Jadeveon Clowney getting better, James Houston being in the game a little bit more, Donovan Ezeraku is starting to figure out the game speed of the NFL. I feel like eventually, within 3 weeks, not like way, way, way down the line, within like 3 weeks, that our pass rush is heads over heels better than what it has been for the first 4 weeks of the season. That's a prediction that I have. We'll find out if I'm right or I'm wrong. You can call me a liar, tell me I'm crazy, pull the crackhead here, I'll scratch for you again. Pull the crackhead statements out again. It doesn't matter. I do feel like in about 3 weeks, our pass rush is going to be much better. So that's the first thing, right? If you want to move behind them, the linebackers is why we're only going to be a middle of the road defense. I don't understand or see how we get any better before Overshawn comes back, but Overshawn doesn't come back until Thanksgiving. Now, if we go with the same, and I talked about this yesterday in my immediate reaction, but if we go with the same concept, right, Trayvon Diggs comes back, he needs three or 4 weeks before he's better. Deron Bland comes back, it's not perfect, needs 3 or 4 weeks before he gets better. So now you got the Thanksgiving week game for DeMarvion Overshawn, and then you need 3 or 4 weeks after that. I mean, you're literally in the playoffs at that point, if you actually even made the playoffs. It would be great to be, a top 5 defense, playing like a top 5 defense by the time the playoffs rolls around. But you got to make it by that time, and I'm hoping that we actually do, but it won't be because of the linebackers. The biggest problem I see in our linebackers is we don't have any speed in our linebackers, which means a couple of things. As we're carrying running backs and carrying tight ends, they're getting outran. The defense can get stretched because there isn't a pass rush. Obviously, that part's going to start to get better, so that'll cover up some of the lack of speed. But when the quarterback gets out of the pocket, and we still have some of those parties. I mean, Jaden Daniels will probably be back by the time that we play them. Justin Fields is one of those who made an incredible play on Monday Night Football, running the football. I mean, we still have some teams that are going to be able to run. And we still got to play Jalen Hurts again, and he killed us with his legs the last time. No speed at linebacker is really still going to be a problem for us, and we're not going to have a solution for it. Louisville is probably our best bet, but he's kind of in the doghouse for me right now because he made a play that could have, I'm not saying that it did, but it could have been one of the things that cost us the game. I mean, without that penalty, without that extra 15 yards, there's a possibility that we win instead of tie yesterday. And so boneheaded plays like that are part of what I was saying. Shotty has to be able to clear up. You have to be able to have controlled aggression in the sport of football, and Maris Louisville showed that he did not have that controlled aggression, and that was some of the issues with him overrunning plays and different stuff like that prior to is, not being able to control the aggression, not being able to see, not being able to feel the right holes. Although if you watch Kenneth Murray, I mean, there's some times where I don't know what he was doing. Sanborn has a great mental ability and is able to show up and be at places. He doesn't have the speed. What was the draft pick? Number 50. I don't forgot his name that quick. I wanted him in the game, but he showed he doesn't really have the speed either. There was a play where we were hoping he could run down Jacobs. It's not the easiest thing to do, don't get me wrong, but he definitely showed that he's not a speedy linebacker either on that particular play. So I don't know what we're going to do as far as the middle part. We can cover it up with a better pass rush. But as a long run, that's going to be our Achilles heel. In the secondary, I saw about 19 posts when Malik Hooker got hurt, and it was like, why not Donovan Wilson? I think that is the meanest thing to actually say. I did think it. No, I thought it, but I think it's the meanest thing to actually say out loud. And I thought it, but I mean, it's Dono. I don't really want to just throw him under the bus continuously like that. And I feel like he played a much better game yesterday than he has, but he still has to atone for his sins in those two games that were horrible for us, the Giants game and, of course, the Bears game. But I think he played a little bit better football, and we're stuck with him. Let's just get that out the way. We're stuck with him. We got 3 safeties on the roster right now: Marquise Bell, Wanye, and Dono. Those are the 3 safeties. We don't have that. I don't know if they're going to go back out there and get CJ or not. It doesn't make sense. I would assume that what they'll probably do if they get too low is to, especially as our cornerbacks start to come back in, probably end up with 2 nickels on the field, which may actually help us out a little bit in our coverage, and then play 1 high. But then that 1 high is probably not going to be Wanye, who's probably a better athlete to play the 1 high than Dono is. But as a whole, what I will say is this. I think that Wilson played a little bit better of a game, not a perfect game. I think stuff just been going over his head. Didn't happen this game. They tried to take the shots. There were people in position. The rush did get there a little bit better this time. Flus did dial up some pressure as far as the blitz is concerned, although we need to work on some of the timing on some of those. But he did do some of those things that's going to help out. So from a scheme standpoint, he is doing some things that's helping out. I think that Trayvon Diggs is going to be okay. That's what I think. I don't think you're going to keep picking on Trayvon Diggs and him not come up with some interceptions eventually. I just don't think it is. Matter of fact, that he almost got one. He did get one, but it was called back because of a penalty. You're not just going to keep picking on him. I don't think you're going to keep picking on DaRon Bland. These guys got paid for a reason, and we had some great seasons. Everybody was cheering their name, and now they're trash because they were hurt and they haven't gotten their legs back underneath them. Just defend the boys. I'm going to have to give them a chance. I'm going to have to give them the opportunity to be better is what I'm going to have to do. So I do. I think Trayvon Diggs is going to be better. I don't think he's going to be what you've seen in the last couple of weeks. Like I said, he slipped. And other than that, he really wasn't targeted again because they knew better. This game, like I said, he came up with an interception. You're not just going to keep picking on him. You're not going to keep picking on DaRon Bland. He's working his way back from injury, and eventually he's going to get his legs in front of him. And some of those plays that we barely missed, we're actually going to start getting. Also, we're not going to be playing the Green Bay Packers every week. So some of those plays that they were able to make, other teams just aren't going to be able to make. And you're going to see a difference. And I think the defensive stats will start to even out a little bit better. I think they will start playing close to a top 10 defense, playing like close to a top 10 defense, but I think they'll even out to somewhere around middle of the road. And I don't see the offense slowing down. I mean, eventually CD will be back, and this offense is explosive. So because of that, Trey, I think we're still going to be okay. I know it doesn't look good, 1-2-1. You don't even know what a tie is. We haven't seen ties. Like, how do you explain the ties? That tie going to hurt us at the end of the year. It wasn't a loss. 1-2-1 is still better than 1-3. I mean, I'm just saying it's not 2-2, which is what you would want, but it's definitely better than 1-3 as you start to get your legs underneath you and start to play better and different things like that. So I believe that the defense is going to be better just naturally as things start to progress. As Jadeveon Clowney starts to get his legs underneath him, our pass rush starts to get better. Flus starts to get a little rhythm as far as calling blitzes and having some of these players be ready. Reddy Stewart, speaking of being ready, is getting ready to be a bigger part. I did a whole podcast on him. If you haven't watched it yet, you can go to YouTube, look up Defending the Boys. I have a whole podcast about how Reddy Stewart is a dog. That young man knows how to play football. I think that you're going to be thoroughly impressed with him as the year goes on. So when you look at maybe having to put 2 nickels in the game, Reddy Stewart, DaRon Bland, still having Trayvon Diggs on one side, and then starting to figure out if there's someone possibly better than Elam. Yeah, I'm not exactly excited about him. We don't know what Siobhan Revel is going to be. We hope he's going to be the next Deion Sanders or Revis Island or something like that, but we don't know. We have absolutely no idea. So I don't want to get too excited about putting in a rookie. But I mean, Kalen Carson was a good football player for a while, and all of a sudden he started tripping. I don't know if that was confidence or what the problem is. He ended up getting injured. There's a possibility that he gets back and he can do better than what Elam is doing. We have some opportunities. It's not all lost. It's not that, hey, we're stuck and this is all that we're going to be able to do. I actually think that in about 3 weeks, you'll see the defense playing some very good football, actually. Some of it may look better. I don't think that you're going to see another Chicago Bears game. I don't think that when we play the Carolina Panthers or the New York Jets that we're going to play to our competition. I feel like the coaching staff is going to be able to erase that. That happens once a year. I thought that we weren't going to have that this year. I thought Shadi was going to be able to get into the culture and stop us not being prepared for certain games. And I'm not certain if the Chicago game was a lack of preparation or just really not being able to play without Deron Bland or the defense just not knowing it, not mentally being prepared. I'm not sure what was going on for the Chicago Bears game, but I don't expect that over the next 2 weeks. The goal is to get these next 2 weeks out of the way and actually get 2 wins out of this so that we are 3-2-1 at that point as we start to move into later parts of the year. So we're going to come back. I do have Defending the Boys fan talk coming in this week. We're going to talk about what the defense needs to do for our next week's opponent. We're going to come back in on a separate one and talk about what the offense needs to do. So definitely stay tuned. Continue to check into the Defending the Boys podcast brought to you by the Car Wreck Attorneys at 1-833 Oh, I'm hit. This is Defending the Boys. I am D. Will, and I'm out.